So let's take it from the top. Let's go into a game and let's talk about Viceroy, shall we?
Well, well, we have the Viceroy system, which helps a ruler to organize his realm. And obviously the typical example is Byzantium, where they are called precisely exarchs. I'll say that again. And it means if as an emperor you hold a title and you want someone else to rule this area for you, but you don't want to give away the title. You're basically assigning a governor, a lifetime governor, and when the governor dies, it comes back to you. And that's what the Viceroy system is. And it's not going to be available to everyone at start. First, it's only available to emperors, but it's not going to be available to any 5-pence emperor, of course. The Byzantines are going to have a law that allows them to use it, and if you're the emperor of the whole Roman Empire, you could conceivably, with time, technology, and development, get a viceroy law and use viceroys as well.
All of these guys are viceroy dukes from the start. So these guys are, well, he has a theme and he is a strategos. But if I wanted to give it to, say, this guy here, I can grant a viceroyalty, and the Kingdom of Greece seems to be a reasonable thing. And he is now my vassal. Let's do it that way. So this guy is now in exarch, which is one of those nice words. It sounds good to say it. That is a perk of the Byzantine Empire. Because they are effectively an extension of the Roman Empire, they have a special Roman law, the imperial administration, that nobody else has. Everyone can get it, but they require an awful lot of technology, and we basically explain this with the Roman Empire having been a lot higher technology than most of the world is at this point. So you will need to have an awful lot of legalism.
The story events around Charlemagne himself, and it kind of it's meant to tell kind of the story of his fall and his early conflicts with his brother, his involvement with Umayyads in Spain, his mother, the Lombards. It's kind of, if you know the story of Charlemagne, you will know roughly what kind of things to expect there, and if you don't, well, you will know something of the story of Charlemagne after you play as him. It's not a forced railroading or anything, but it kind of helps you in a historical direction, and it paints the character Charlemagne and the characters around him, and giving some life to these specific historical characters. You can go into hiding now, so it's going to be harder to murder people who are in hiding, and this obviously requires different methods of ending the life of your troublesome relatives or whatnot. And well, if you stay in hiding for long, it's obviously an advantage to be harder to kill, but one of the disadvantages is that you can go a bit strange if you spend a lot of time without going outdoors. Yeah, this is historically Charlemagne had some problems in Aquitaine, to put it mildly, and we've reflected that in the setup, that we have a very strong rebellious tendencies with the dukes in Aquitaine at game start. So you're likely to have some problems there, which we can see here.
Oh, West Francia just formed.
Wow.
Charlemagne is dead.
Someone just kicked the bucket, yeah.
Yes.
So Charlemagne died. Why? After the...
Comatose in bed.
Oh dear.
That was probably not even Charlemagne's fault.
At the age of 19. Wow. And all of a sudden Charlemagne has got all the troops to crush the Aquitanian revolt.
Yeah, it's not so great for this guy.
Well, the funny thing is that if you consider Tutorial Island, it does have new features now, so it could be tutorial. It could now be Tribal Tutorial Island.
Exactly, that actually works out really well.
And well, as you can see on the map, it's quite fractured, and I think you'll have some interesting squabbles there over who's the biggest of the Who's the biggest potato in the pot, or I don't know. Did I just make a potato joke? I'm very sorry.
Basically, we would have loved to make Iceland Wasteland and then have you colonize it. That would have been great, but it was just way too much work for very little. You would probably be more happy about like the Viceroy system or something like that, because he's sort of on par with how much work it would be. Let's see now. Open the Chronicle. So let's see. I've created the title of Kingdom of Greece.
It was a great day.
Yeah, it was, and then I gave it to some guy who then started asking for my duchy. That was not the greatest thing I've ever done, but yeah. Become the Blessed.
And so basically, it goes through the stages of your life, and basically every single page is a page in the life of your Basileus in this particular case. And then you can just export the Chronicle in text file, I believe.
Yes.
So you just export it as text file, and then you can pretty much write up your own AAR if you want to. So it's pretty much an AAR tool, for instance.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
So the when it comes to technology, you used to get domain size from legalism. You don't. Instead, you get it from a law, and it's this law, centralization.
Though you unlock laws through legalism.
Yes, you unlock laws through legalism, and then you get domain size versus the new thing called vassal limit through the centralization law. And the way this works is that it was a bit too sort of linear and straightforward to just get more domain size through the legalism thing. It felt like it wasn't really a choice. It wasn't an interesting decision the player had to make. It was just, well, I get more legalism, I get more domain size. But now you actually have the choice of, do I want a bigger realm? Because obviously 5 vassal limit is a much bigger realm size increase than 1 domain size. So obviously if you want a much bigger realm, you will need to have a smaller domain. And I think that's a fairly interesting way of doing it. Basically the HRE is the example of an extremely decentralized realm that has potentially a very big empire, whereas a lot of the smaller kingdoms and such can have bigger domains because they don't need to have as many vassals.
There it is.
Oh, there's a new icon.
There's a decision.
Oh, a decision.
Found a new kingdom. So let's do that then, shall we?
Okay.
Boom. And we now have a kingdom which is based off of the duchy we had previously. There has always been a penalty in winter, but because we've never had any reasonable way of showing it, we've always felt that penalizing people for something that they can't see just doesn't work particularly well. But now that you can actually see the winter coming,
winter is coming.
Winter is most assuredly coming.
Is it?
So there is a decision, which is called Adopt Feudalism. There's another one called Found a Merchant Republic. And these 2 decisions are what you will have to work towards in order to advance out of the tribal stage. And basically these 2 terrible, hard-to-read tooltips that we will probably have to fix at some point and make readable tell you all the things that you need in order to become a merchant republic or in order to become feudal. And this requires such interesting things as having a fully upgraded hill fort in your capital, which is this building here, or this line of buildings really. So you need to upgrade this fully, and this costs gold. And gold, interestingly, unless you cheat like I did, gold is something that is very, very scarce for the tribals.
Raiding, baby.
Yes, raiding is how you get it. You get some of it through the through taxes as usual, but the majority of gold will have to come from somewhere else. And obviously the easiest way is to take it from someone else. So you need to fully upgrade this, or if you want to go the route of a merchant republic, you need to upgrade the market line, which will give you lots of nice income, which will actually make it easier to progress to that stage. Now, in addition to that, you will also need to not be an unreformed pagan.
Oh.
And this is probably the biggest requirement, or possibly there is some tech requirement on building up all of these the hill forts as well. So that's also something that you'll need to take into account. But the biggest problem is probably going to be reforming your religion, or if you're lazy like that, becoming Christian or Orthodox or Muslim for that matter. If you're playing as a Tengri, or if you're playing as
Hindu.
something else, or Hindu for that matter. If you're playing as somebody else who wants to sort of reform into feudalism, and you can't be arsed to reform your religion, then the only option you have is to convert to something else. What I've done with them is I accidentally pressed the wrong button. So we've made them a lot smaller, right? As you can see, there's not as many troops, and they're more expensive to buy. But most importantly, if I buy a couple of them and I check my expenses, I will find that they actually cost money all the time. There we go, retinue upkeep. So they actually cost money all the time, which means that they are a lot harder to maintain now than they were before.
And they now present an actual choice as well for the player.
Yes.
Do you want to spend money on retinues? Whereas before it was, just a no-brainer. You have your retinues and they're free.
Yeah,
exactly.